So, have you been able to keep up with tasks and events? I noticed you were a little late to our meeting today.
Sighs. Yeah, I'm sorry. Lately I've been late to a lot of things. Work calls, even important meetings. I've missed a couple of deadlines at work and now it's spilling into my home life. My partner is really upset. They think I'm not trying hard enough. It's hurting my marriage because it looks like I just don't care, but I do care. I just feel stuck.
I hear you. It sounds very stressful and overwhelming. You are trying, but your brain is making it hard to show it. Let's unpack this a bit. You mentioned being late and missing deadlines. Do you have a sense of what's causing those issues? For example, do you lose track of time or get caught up in other things?
All the time. It's like I blink and suddenly an hour passed. I'll start one thing, then get sucked into something else. Or I think I have more time than I do. I guess I do lose track of time pretty often.
That's actually a known ADHD experience called time blindness. It means it's hard for you to sense time passing or estimate how long things take. It's not intentional, it's just how your brain perceives time differently. Time blindness can definitely make you late or make deadlines sneak up on you because you genuinely don't feel time moving the same way others might.
That makes sense. I'll often look up and realize I'm already 10 minutes late to something. It's not that I want to be late. It just happens before I know it.
Right. And on top of time blindness, ADHD often comes with executive dysfunction. That's a big term for the difficulty in starting tasks, organizing them, and seeing them through. It's like a disconnect between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it. So even if you intend to be on time or meet a deadline, your brain's executive function challenges can interfere. It's not laziness or lack of caring. It's your neurodivergent brain struggling with the mechanics of execution.
I do feel like my brain doesn't cooperate. I want to do things on time, but somehow I always mess up. It's frustrating and it makes me feel really guilty and anxious, like I'm constantly waiting for the next thing I'll forget or be late for. That anxiety you're describing is understandable. It sounds like you have a lot on your plate and it's overwhelming to the point where you sometimes feel frozen, not sure how to move forward. Does that sound right?
Exactly. There are days I have so many tasks and deadlines that I just shut down. I feel overwhelmed and then I procrastinate or do nothing, which of course makes everything worse.
That overwhelm freeze is a common response, especially when your brain has trouble prioritizing what to do first. With ADHD, when everything feels urgent or important all at once, it's really hard to prioritize tasks. That lack of prioritization can leave you not knowing where to start, so you end up starting nothing. It's like your mind is saying, I have 10 things to do, I can't decide which is first, so I'll just stall. And then the stress piles up. So you're living in a very reactive mode. You're constantly reacting to problems or deadlines as they hit you, instead of feeling in control. That reactive cycle can be exhausting and chaotic. What we want to do is help you shift from reactivity to a more intentional way of managing your time and tasks. And one key to that is going to be introducing a bit of structure, some planning.
I get what you're saying. It seems counterintuitive to take time out to plan when you're already feeling behind. Many people with ADHD feel they have no time to plan because they're busy scrambling from one task to another.
But here's the irony. Not planning actually ends up costing you more time and energy. When you don't plan, you're constantly playing catch-up or dealing with emergencies that a little forethought might have prevented. Spending even 15 or 30 minutes to plan your week can save you hours of inefficiency, mistakes, or backtracking later. It's like an investment. Put a bit of time in up front to get a big return later in the week.
I guess planning always felt like a chore or like it would box me in. I'm a creative person. I worry that if I plan out every minute, I'll lose my creativity or spontaneity. Like planning might kill my creativity. And honestly, even when I do try to plan, I rarely follow through. I'll make a perfect schedule or to-do list and then I don't stick to it. Then I feel like a failure, so I kind of hate planning for making me feel that way.
You're definitely not alone in feeling that. A lot of folks with ADHD feel that planning is rigid or stifling. But let's talk about the creativity concern first. It might surprise you, but planning can actually boost your creativity rather than block it. Think about when you get a brilliant idea out of the blue. If you have no plan or structure for your tasks, then when inspiration strikes, you suddenly have to figure out, okay, can I work on this now or do I have other things I should be doing? You end up trying to decide what's most important on the fly. That decision-making process can sap your creative energy. Sometimes by the time you decide, that spark of inspiration has faded, or you're too drained to act on it. Right. Now imagine if you had a bit of a plan. You'd know what the top priorities for the day or week are. If a creative idea pops up, you could slot it in or note it down for a specific time, because you know when you're free or what can be moved. Having a structure actually protects your creativity. It ensures the important stuff is handled or scheduled, so your brain has the freedom to be creative at the right time. In other words, planning isn't the enemy of creativity. It can be a supportive friend to the creative process.
That's a completely different way to look at it. I always thought structure would feel like handcuffs, but you're saying it could be more like a safety net.
Great metaphor. Exactly. A safety net. The structure catches all those loose tasks and ideas so they don't just free float in your head and stress you out. And about that other point, feeling like you never follow through on a plan, so why bother? Let's address that. This is a really common mindset. I'll never stick to it anyway. It sounds like you've had the experience of enthusiastically starting a new planning system or buying a planner, and then falling off the wagon. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I've bought so many planners and apps. I use them for a week, then abandon them. I end up feeling hopeless, like I'm just not a person who can plan.
I understand. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all planning method, especially for ADHD brains. The fact that those planners didn't stick just means those methods weren't the right fit for you, or maybe they needed tweaking. It doesn't mean you can't follow through on anything. In fact, you are already following through on many things in life. You show up to work, maybe a bit late, but you get there. You take care of your kids or pets. You pursue hobbies sometimes. Your brain is capable of following through. It's just inconsistent because it needs the right supports. Our brains have a negativity bias, and ADHD can amplify that by focusing on failures.
So let's flip the script.
Instead of thinking I never follow through, let's recognize you can follow through, and we just need to channel that ability into a planning routine that sticks.
It might take some experimenting.
We'll find a way that works with your ADHD brain instead of against it. We start small and treat it as an experiment, not a final exam.
Think of creating a planning routine as trying on clothes.
You might have to try a few styles until something fits comfortably.
The core elements we want to look at are the right tool for you, the right time frame, and a regular routine.
For example, many people with ADHD find that a weekly planning session works best.
A week is a short enough time frame to stay interesting and flexible, but long enough to look ahead and prevent surprises. Weekly, okay, I could see that being more doable than a daily schedule or a long-term plan. What would a weekly planning session look like?
It could be very straightforward. Say each Sunday evening or Monday morning, you spend maybe 20 to 30 minutes with a cup of coffee, going over what's coming up.
You create a one-page dashboard for your week.
On that one page, or screen if digital, you list the key things, any deadlines or big tasks, appointments or meetings, and perhaps 2 or 3 top priorities you really want to focus on that week.
One page for everything important that week. That actually sounds kind of nice. I like the idea of seeing my week at a glance. Exactly.
It simplifies things. Your brain doesn't get overwhelmed by a thick planner or a cluttered calendar because you've distilled it down to the essentials on one page. You can use whatever tools feel good for you. Some people love a paper planner or a whiteboard because writing by hand helps them remember and visualize. Others prefer digital tools, like a calendar app or something like Notion or Trello, especially if they need reminders or like to drag and drop tasks. We can figure out if you're more of a paper or digital person, or maybe a hybrid. The key is, it should be something you enjoy using, at least a little, and find easy. If it's too complicated or not fun, you won't stick with it, right?
Yeah, if it's not simple, I'll abandon it. I do think I'd like a Google Calendar for appointments and a simple to-do list on paper for daily tasks. I kind of like physically crossing things off, but I also rely on my phone for reminders.
Great, a hybrid approach can work well. For instance, use the digital calendar to block out any fixed events, like meetings, due dates, date night with your partner, etc., and use a paper or sticky note system for your daily to-dos or the weekly priority list. Then, during your weekly planning time, you update both. Put new events in the calendar and write out your new one-page dashboard of tasks and priorities. Keep that paper dashboard where you can see it easily, on your desk or the fridge, wherever you'll look at it each day.
I love the idea of a dashboard for the week. It's kind of like giving my brain a map so it doesn't feel so lost.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's a map. And remember, the first map you draw might not be perfect. Maybe you'll overschedule yourself at first or forget to include some downtime. That's okay. Each week you'll learn and adjust. This is why I say treat it as an experiment. Okay, what worked about my planning this week? What didn't work? Maybe you'll find you planned too many tasks for Monday and not enough for midweek, or you forgot to leave buffers between meetings. It's all feedback to help you tweak your approach. Start small and iterate.
Exactly.
We're ditching all or nothing thinking. Even a partial success is progress. Maybe this week you planned and accomplished 50% of what you intended. Hey, that's 50% more than if you had no plan at all. And as you practice, you'll get better. The goal is not to be a perfect planner, it's to reduce your stress and help you manage life intentionally.
It should. Let's also touch on something you brought up. Your partner thinking you're not trying.
When you start using a planning system that works for you, you'll begin to catch those things that used to slip through the cracks, like the missed deadlines or forgetting to pick up milk on the way home. Over time, that consistency can show your partner that you are trying and that you care. More importantly, you will feel more in control and confident.
I know, and you deserve credit for the things you're managing in spite of ADHD.
By planning in a way that works with your brain, you're going to give yourself that credit. You'll start seeing tasks get done and goals being met. And when something does slip, because hey, nobody's perfect, you'll have a system to catch it and plan for it next time instead of just feeling guilty.
That's wonderful to hear. Remember, planning is a form of self-care. It's not punishment or boring admin work, it's you taking care of future you. Think of it like setting out your clothes for tomorrow so morning you has it a bit easier, but on a slightly bigger scale. When you plan, you're compassionately giving your brain support and structure, and that reduces the overall stress and mental load you carry. That's a nice way to look at it. Planning is self-care. I'll try to keep that in mind, especially if I start feeling resistant to doing it.
Great. And speaking of mental load, we should acknowledge the compounding mental load you've been carrying from all those unplanned or unfinished tasks. Every missed bill, every forgotten errand, every late assignment. They've been piling up in your mind, weighing you down with worry. By planning, you're going to start clearing those out. You'll spot tasks in advance and handle them so they don't all pile up in your head. Over time, that pile of stress in your mind will get smaller and smaller.
I'd love to not have that constant pressure like 1,000 tabs open in my brain. Exactly.
We want to close some of those tabs for you. When you live intentionally instead of just reactively, life feels a bit more manageable. You'll still have surprises and spontaneous moments. Planning won't remove the fun or all the uncertainty. Don't worry. But you'll have your essentials covered. You'll know, okay, I've planned my week, I know roughly what's coming, I can handle this. That confidence will build each week you practice this.
I'm actually excited to try my Sunday planning session now. I'll set a reminder for it so I don't forget.
That's a great idea. Set an alarm or reminder to prompt you for the planning session. Using our tools to support our memory is another smart strategy. As you do this, remember I'm here to help. We can adjust the approach together if needed. You might stumble a bit at first, but that's okay. The fact that you're willing to try is a huge step forward.
Thank you. I really appreciate how understanding you are. It feels good to have a plan for how to help myself, instead of just feeling bad about myself all the time.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to see you feeling hopeful. You deserve that hope, and you deserve a strategy that helps you thrive. Your ADHD brain may work differently, but with a little structure and self-compassion, you can absolutely live a life where your days feel more under control. You'll be working with your brain, not against it. You've got this. We'll start with a simple weekly plan and build from there. I believe in you, and I want you to believe in yourself too. You're not failing, you're learning how to support your unique brain. And you're certainly not alone. So many people with ADHD go through this, and it does get better with the right tools. I can't wait to hear about it. Remember, small steps and celebrate even the little wins, okay? S1, Media Group, client looking determined, client and therapist making eye contact, Therapy session agreement stock distribute _ equally. I'll do my best. I'm actually looking forward to telling you how it goes next week.
Okay, will do.
All right, keep me posted and we'll refine things as we go. You're on the right track. If this conversation resonated, don't forget to like and subscribe. You deserve a life that works with your brain, not against it.